let's do some adapting. Some adaptations, that is. This is X-Men, the animated series, the adaptations. This is a direct market cover. Right over here is going to be the standard cover. And inspired from the classic show, the X-Men animated show. This covers the first 3 seasons of that. So, with that said, let's go over and see what it is. Front, spine, back. In sheet 2, in sheet 1. Without the dust cover, the complete naked book, this is the front. That's around, that's the spine, and that's the back. So if you want to pick up a copy of this or any other book, go over to organicpricebooks.com. Right over here, go visit them. Use the code of 5th of Jack to save $2 off. Or if you have 4 or more books, use the code Jacket Together, all spelled out, all in one word, to be able to save 5% off your entire order. Any order of $50 or more gets free shipping. And their shipping's pretty bomb-proof. Without further ado, let's switch the camera over to be able to see what you're going to be able to expect. Alright, got a nice area view set up. The end pages are going to be nice and black. All the credits, all the different artists and stuff like that. All the different episodes, because I'm going to call it episodes because that's what they are. They're inspired from the original series episodes. Such as the first episode of it is called Night of the Sentinels, and the first issue is also called Night of the Sentinels. So this is going to be the cover to the standard cover that you have been able to see. From this point forward, we'll let you over see the art as we go along, and I'll have a nice little voiceover that's going to carry on the rest of the way until we go to our final thoughts. This is inspired from the series that started in 1992 and went over to 1996. And it went for 5 seasons altogether as a series. However, this covers the first 3 seasons. Starting off with when the Sentinels come over to take Jubilee, and finishes off with the Phoenix that goes on with it. Throughout the book, you end up seeing the framework that they had with the original series. However, there are some minor changes that you'll be seeing that's in the storylines as well as the book. The artwork is pretty spot on, especially during the era. You get to see the main group of Storm, Cyclops, Wolverine, Beast, Jubilee, Gambit, and then of course Professor Xavier. And you get to see a few other little characters such as Bishop and Cable that pops on through. This includes the stories of Days of Future Past, in the Dark Phoenix Saga, collecting X-Men Adventures 1 through 15, X-Men Adventures 94, 1 through 13, X-Men Adventures 1 through 13 as well. You're also going to be able to see which season you're going to be into, because it would have Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3 at each issue. What's nice is that each issue has a cover from the previous issue to break it up between the 2 different ones. And then you also find that there's some special stuff in the backs. You also end up having nice little treats throughout the book of the pinups and special art that they ended up having. As for the quality of the book is spot on quality wise. I didn't have any loose pages or any pages getting loose in the process. Just made it up stretching that spine. And as expected, there's a little bit of gutter loss that you'll be able to have with the book, especially with those bigger splash pages that they have. And it did also have a couple of spots where you end up having to rotate the book, which is a challenge with these big books of the Omnibus. But it's nice and solidly built, so you can end up putting up with it. At the time of the recording of this video, This book could have been found over at Orkubi, over for a back order. So that means it could take a couple weeks to be able to grab it. So if this is something you want to be grabbing, I would suggest grabbing it as soon as you can. Alright, I think we'll wrap that up there. Switch on over, go to our final thoughts about the book. Alright, our final thoughts on X-Men, the animated series, the adaptations. I would honestly give it a 6 out of 10. Why? Well, it had good art, and it had decent story because obviously it's inspired from the original series. However, there are subtle changes that they make throughout the story that's different from the animated show. And most of those changes that I see that they changed over there didn't really flow with me, and especially after you ended up watching the episodes, because I watched the first 3 seasons to be able to prepare for this bad boy. And I felt like it was a little lack of luster. And then, if you didn't notice, at the tail end, they kind of ended up switching the art, which that art I didn't really care for as much. Had decent art throughout most of the book. Probably, the last 5% of the book or so? The last few story arcs that they ended up having vibe with me. Another preparation is, if you ended up watching the X-Men 97 review, I also said that you could end up using this as a substitute for 3 seasons. That way you only have to watch 2 seasons, and then you'll be able to be caught up. I would strongly suggest against that, because this doesn't have the Easter eggs, or be able to pick up on the Easter eggs that you would be able to pick up in this series. So if you were thinking about picking this up, read this, and then just have to watch a few seasons, I would not advise for that. However, I did have the advertisement of going over with a podcast that covered it, like Marvel Alliance. They'll end up breaking down each episode stellarly well, and they'll also give you more information and more background with that. So, with that said, I would be saying that this is a 6 out of 10. It's not a requirement or it must pick up, but if you're ever curious, it's a solid, or be a nice little pickup. It's not worse, but it's not great as well. It's right at home at 6 out of 10. So if you're picking up this or any other book, visit organicpricebooks.com. Use the code of 5th of Jack, all spelled out, to save $2 off. If you have 4 or more books, use the discount code Jack It Together, all spelled out as well, all together in one word, and you'll be able to save 5% off instead of that $2. It's a good way of helping the channel. It's a good way of helping it. Plus, while you're doing stuff, why don't you hit that little subscribe button and hit that little bell to be notified whenever we come out with new content. So, down in the comments down below, have you ended up reading this book or watching the show? Or have you watched X-Men 97? Let us know. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you guys later. See ya!